Greetings wonderful audience, Amarjit here. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing fantastic. So thank you so much for subscribing my channel, and who do not subscribe to my channel then please do subscribe to my channel. So in today's video I am going to perform a live mock test of the listening section of PTE. So keep your pen and paper ready along with this video, and I am going to perform this mock test on Alpha PTE so that we can get some different accents of the speaker and at the different speeds. So we will do this test on the Alpha PTE due to some speaker changes so that we can get familiar, because some of the students will get less marks in the final PT exam because of the speakers of the different accents. So my motive to make these videos is that you can get benefits from my videos, because most of the students can't afford a high fees. So I am making these videos so that you can do test along with the my test, and in the end of the video I will also share the answers and my score also. So let's start the video without wasting of time. So we will, in this test you have all the task of the listening section, means you will get the task from the speaking section also, like repeat sentence, retell lecture and the answer short question. So after that these are the tasks from the listening section. So let's continue it, and you have 50 minutes to complete this task. So this is repeat sentence.
Include a bibliography at the end of all your filed assignments.
Include a bibliography at the end of all your filed assignments.
Clarity, correctness, and conciseness in English writing are absolutely vital.
Clarity, correctness in English writing are absolutely vital.
To find the library, walk straight ahead, then turn left.
To find the library, walk straight ahead, then turn left.
A smart doctor invented the game of basketball many years ago.
A smart doctor invented the game of basketballs many years ago.
The Soviet Union sent the very first human into space.
The Soviet Union sent the very first human into space.
We have lessons every Thursday during the school term.
We have lessons every Thursday during the school term.
We won't accept assignments that are turned in after Friday's deadline.
We won't accept assignments that are turned in after Friday's deadline.
Jonathan is often late when he goes to different places or events.
Is often late when he goes to different places or events.
Most American volcanoes hide beneath the ocean's surface, out of sight.
Most American volcanoes hide the ocean surface out of sight.
Other countries help English become important all over the world today.
Other countries help English become important all over the world today.
Sometimes, ads make people confused instead of telling them the right stuff.
Sometimes ads make people confused instead of telling them the right stuff.
Sometimes, children have friends who are not good role models.
Sometimes children have friends who are not good role models. So it's a Retell lecture.
Thermodynamics. All right, let's start. Thermodynamics is the science of the flow of heat. So thermo is heat, and dynamics is the motion of heat. Thermodynamics was developed largely beginning in the 1800s, at the time of the Industrial Revolution. It's the taming of steel, the beginning of generating power by burning fossil fuels, the beginning of the problems with CO2 in the atmosphere, global warming. In fact, it's interesting to note that the first calculation on the impact of CO2 on climate was done in the late 1800s by Arrhenius. Beginning of the generation of power, moving heat from fossil fuels to generating energy, locomotives, etc. So he calculated what would happen to this burning of fossil fuels, and he decided in his calculation, he basically got the calculation right, by the way. But he came out that in 2,000 years from the time that he did the calculations, humans would be in trouble.
So try to note down the phrases in the Retell lecture and use a good template. The speaker was discussing thermodynamics. He talked about science is the flow of heat. He mentioned that dynamics is the motion of heat. He highlighted that the time of the Industrial Revolution. He discussed that the power by burning fossil fuels. He also explained that fossil fuels to generating energy. Overall, the speaker provided information about human would be in a trouble. Answer short question.
What is the change in an organism's DNA called?
Mutation.
What is the Spanish dance known for its energetic and passionate movements?
Flamenco.
What is the word for the Spanish tradition of a midday rest or nap, especially common in hot climates?
Siesta.
What is the Spanish custom of serving small dishes, typically with drinks, at bars and cafes called?
Tapas.
What is the term for a professional who takes photographs, either as a hobby or a career?
Photographer. So summarize spoken text. Try to note down phrases.
In this lecture, I want to talk about the digital divide. The digital divide is a significant global issue, highlighting the gap between those who have access to digital technologies and those who do not. This divide is not just about technology, it's about opportunity. Access to the internet and digital tools is crucial for education, employment, and participation in the digital economy. The digital divide exacerbates existing inequalities, leaving many behind in a rapidly advancing world. It's most pronounced in developing countries, but it's also a concern in developed nations, particularly among rural and low-income communities. Bridging this divide requires a multifaceted approach. including investment in infrastructure, affordable technology, and digital literacy programs. It's a crucial step towards creating a more equitable and inclusive global society.
So this is summarized spoken text, and you can use a template in the summarized spoken text, but use a template in a form like that कि your sentences should make a sense. Now the first line from the template is the speaker was talking about the digital divide. So I think this is the main topic of the lecture. So this is my point of view. You can write your own points also. So firstly, he discussed. So this is the line from the template, and my next phrase is the gap in digital technology. The gap in digital technology, full stop. So next is secondly. So this is the line from the template he mentioned, because the speaker was he. He mentioned the importance of employment and other services. The importance of employment and other services. This is the mistake in importance. So next is in addition. So this is the line from the template. In addition, he explained. This is the line from the template, and the phrase is investment in infrastructure and developed nations. Investment in infrastructure and developed nations. So this is the phrase. Then next line is moreover, the lecture was all about. So the next phrase is the digital literacy program. The digital literacy program and global society overall. The speaker provided information about advancements in the world, because the world is noun, so we will use the before the noun. So here is the mistake of the spellings. Importance. So the word is 59 words, so you have to satisfy the word limit. It should be in between 50 to 70 words. So if your words are less than 50 and more than 70, then you will get 0 points for that particular question. So you have to remember these points. So proofreading is very important after completing this task, because you will lose marks if you are making spelling mistakes. So if you are making one mistake, then you will get 1 point, and if you are making 2 or more than 2 mistakes, then you will get 0 point. And the same rule of the grammar, because in grammar when we will use connector, then after connector we use comma. So after comma just give a space, not a 2 spaces. You have to just give a 1 space, because sometimes student in hurry will give 2 spaces after the comma. Then you have to take care of that points also. So this is the first line from the template, and the phrase is the digital divide, and next phrase is the gap in digital technology. Your template is in the past form, because you will always tell ki the speaker was, because you are telling now your friend ki this was the lecture. So always make these sentences in the form that ki it should make some grammatical sense, so that the computer can understand what have you written in the summarized spoken text. So do proofreading, the importance of employment and other services. Then next phrase is investment in infrastructure and developed nation. Moreover, the lecture was all about the digital literacy programs and global society. So I think here we have programs and global society. Overall, the speaker provided information advancements in the world. So you have to. So next question. So this is MCQ multiple answers, I think.
Hey Jeff, have you been to the new library yet?
Oh, hi Jen. Yes, I went last week to check it out. I really like it.
Yes, I like it too. I like the study areas. There seemed to be a lot of room to just spread out and focus on the books. It's way better than the old library where it seemed like we were all jammed into one area. Sometimes it was even hard to find a spot to study because it was so crowded, especially during exams. I even like the chairs at the new place. They're super comfy.
You're right. The only bad thing about it is that it's pretty far away. It takes me about 20 minutes to get there by bus, so I can see myself not going all the way downtown if I'm in a pinch for time. I'd probably just stay in the residence and study there.
I was thinking that too. It's too bad it takes so long to get there. I don't like being dependent on the buses. Have you tried riding your bike there? It might take a little longer, but at least you're getting a bit of exercise.
That's a good idea, Jen. Maybe I'll try riding this week. I just have to make sure I'm good and rested. Sometimes when I'm overtired, I'm not too coordinated. Knowing me, I'd have a load of books on my backpack and get distracted by something and crash my bike.
Well, you've just got to keep an eye out for those potholes. Oh, wow, look at the time. I've got to get to my next class. I'll see you around, Jeff.
Good talking to you, Jen. I'll be seeing you.
So this is MCQ multiple answers. You can choose more than one option, but this task has the negative marking. So in which option you are sure to choose that particular option. So I am sure in it has comfortable chairs because they were talking about the library, and the bad thing was it is not very near the university. So you have to choose the option in which you are clear that this is the right answer. Otherwise you can choose only one option because you will get 1 point. So next question, MCQ multiple answer. So this is the question.
Space War. Listen to part of a lecture in an international politics class and answer the questions.
Space became another arena for competition after the Soviet Union launched Sputnik, an artificial satellite, in 1957. Americans felt humiliated. The Soviets launched a rocket that could have easily carried a nuclear bomb. The United States did not even launch its first satellite, Explorer 1, until 1958. The already gloomy public mood took a turn for the worse when the Soviets placed the first man in orbit in 1961. President Kennedy's answer to this was to commit the United States to land a man on the moon and bring him back before this decade is out. In August 1962, John H. Glenn Jr. was the first American to orbit the Earth. In the mid-1960s, U.S. scientists used the Gemini program to look at the effects of extended spaceflight on man. Gemini, Latin for twins, carried 2 astronauts, one more than the earlier Mercury series and one less than the Apollo spacecraft. Gemini achieved several firsts, an 8-day mission in August 1965, the longest space flight at that time, and in November 1966, the first automatically controlled re-entry into the Earth's atmosphere. Gemini also accomplished the first manned link-up of 2 spacecraft in flight, as well as the first U.S. walks in space. The Apollo project achieved Kennedy's goal. In July 1969, with hundreds of millions of television viewers watching around the world, Neil A. Armstrong became the first human to walk on the surface of the moon.
So this was the question. So I think the correct options are the first man linked up of 2 spacecraft and the first 8-day mission in space. So next question. So this is select missing word. You have to choose one option from here.
I don't understand road rage. It is a problem that is getting worse all over the world. People are turning into monsters when they get behind the wheel of a car. They think the road belongs to them. They think they don't have to follow speed limits or consider other drivers. I wonder why this is. What is it about cars and driving that turns normal people into maniacs? Some people simply hoot and shake their fists. The funny thing is, they also do the same things to make other drivers angry. Serious road rage happens when someone gets out of their car and gets angry. They can punch the other driver and sometimes even kill them. Why would you want to kill someone because they overtook you?
So I think the correct option is crazy because they were discussing about the drivers. So I think this is the correct option because cool, funny and amazing was not going with that audio. So let's check the answer later. So this is the next question of select missing word. Here are the options.
China, which has both enjoyed sustained economic growth, face worrying challenges. There are worrying indications that social progress is starting to lag behind economic performance, with the slowdown in the rate of reduction in child deaths a special concern. The UN notes that China spends 5% of its GDP on health, but public spending now amounts to less than 2% of GDP. The erosion of public funding, it says, has resulted in a mismatch between need and provision, with per capita spending in urban areas 3.5 times that in rural areas. Between 70 and 80% of the rural population have no health insurance. Children living in the poorest parts of rural China face far greater health risks, and the gap is...
So I think they were discussing about the health risk, and the correct option is like widening, because these will not go like the unchanged, narrowing, disappearing, because they were discussing some negative things about that particular thing. So I think the widening is the correct option because the gap will widen, not disappear, narrow or unchanged. So next, listening, filling the blanks.
Environment problems caused by hard rock mining involve water pollution by metals themselves, chemicals used in processing, acid drainage and sediment. Metals and metal-like elements in the ore are toxic and prone to cause trouble by ending up in nearby streams and water tables as a result of mining operations.
So the first option is the drainage, and you will get the blanks like this in the final PT exam because the answers means blanks will remain close to each other. So next is the toxic, and the last one is the streams. So the proofreading is very important in this task also. You have to check your spellings after completing the task. So first is the drainage, and this is the spelling, so check your spellings also. Second are or are toxic, so you will not write toxics because here it is are. So your sentence should make a sense. And in the last one, it's nearby streams. So you will get 2 to 3 questions of listening, filling the blanks.
Perhaps you've seen pictures of the large array of, those radio telescopes in New Mexico, scanning the skies for intelligent life in the movie Contact. Well, radiant astronomers have cause to celebrate the first phase of a giant new radio telescope array went operational in Northern California. It's going to help astronomers study things like black holes and dark galaxies. All the while scanning the stars for, radio signals coming from somewhere else in the universe. Maybe ET is phoning home.
So first answer is large. Second is intelligent. Next is celebrate. So with to we use first form of verb, celebrate. Next is operational. And next one is dark galaxies. And last one is radio signals. So check your spellings. I am also checking mine. Large, intelligent, celebrate, operational, galaxies, and then signals. So this is MCQ single answer.
To the beginning of the talk.
Now that the warmer weather and longer days are here, we aren't the only ones spending more time outdoors. This is an active time for bats as well. Migratory bats are now returning to the area, and young bats are starting to explore their environment. Young bats go off course, and this is when most people come into contact with them. Bats are a normal part of our environment and can even be a good thing. Bats help keep down the insect population, especially mosquitoes. Normal bat activity includes sleeping during the daytime and becoming active and flying around in search of food at night, starting at dusk. It's unusual to see a bat during the day. Normal bats don't fly around in the daytime or lie or crawl on the ground. So if you encounter a bat like that, you should call the health department immediately. If you have bats in your attic or house, contact a pest control agency. They do not kill the bats, but make recommendations on how to get the bats out of your home. You'll want to create a one-way valve from your house to outside so they can get out but can't come in. To avoid having bats in your house altogether, find all possible entry points into the house and close them by caulking or screening the gap. Bats can squeeze through a gap of 1/2 inch. Bats are the most likely carriers of rabies in our area, and almost 100% of rabies cases are fatal. Make sure your dogs and cats are vaccinated against rabies. If you should come in physical contact with a bat, it's important to get in touch with the health department or a doctor immediately. If possible, catch the bat so it can be tested for rabies.
Number 7.
So this was the question, how you can prevent bats from entering your house, and I think she was discussing by blocking every opening. So this is the correct answer and you can choose only.
Land animals move easily through air because air does not slow them down. Sea creatures, on the other hand, have to move through water, which is hundreds of times thicker than air. A sea animal has to push itself through water in order to move. Sea animals use many different ways to swim, creep, or glide through water. Fish are able to swim by bending their bodies into waves. They have flattened fins and tails that push against the water like oar blades, converting their body waves into forward movement. The size of a fish's tail contributes to its swimming speed. Small tail fins are found in slow swimmers like the eel. The medium-sized tail of the bass is linked with a medium to fast swimming speed. Long pointed tail lobes like those on the marlin are found only on fast swimmers. Sea mammals like whales and dolphins swim in a very fish-like way, except for one important difference. Because their ancestors lived on the land, they developed tails that moved up and down. Whales and dolphins wave their tails up and down rather than side to side like fish do. The seahorse is a fish whose tail is not used for swimming at all. The seahorse uses its thin, coiled tail to attach itself to seaweed, like a monkey's tail holds onto a tree branch. Squids and octopuses move in a completely different way. They use a type of jet propulsion, shooting water out through a nozzle to force themselves along. And then there are the creatures that live on the bottom of the sea. Sea slugs, limpets, and whelks creep on a single flat piece of muscle called a foot. Ripples pass along the foot, which allows these animals to glide smoothly forward.
So this was the question, what is the main purpose of the lecture? So I think the main purpose of the lecture was to describe how various sea animals move, because she was discussing about the various sea animals. So let's do next question. So this is highlight correct summary. So you will find the answer in the end.
Always try to best understand your partner's specific communication styles. A lot of times we'll take it personally if we notice someone's avoiding us or they're communicating with us less frequently than we'd like. And this doesn't mean that they don't care about you, they don't respect you. This is likely how they were modeled communication as a child. Your partner's communication style typically comes from how their caregivers communicated with each other. You should feel comfortable asking your partner, how do you best handle conflict? Also, some people struggle with verbal communication. So if that's the case, you may want to ask your partner to write down what they're feeling. And this way they won't feel so overwhelmed. Finally, know that communication requires compromise. So if you have a completely different communication style from your partner, know that it's going to be a work in progress until you figure out how you're both best going to communicate.
So in highlight correct summary, you have kind means you can find the answer in the end, because correct summary means the conclusion of the summary, and you will find the conclusion in the end. So I think this is the correct option. In the end she was discussing different communication styles. Highlight incorrect words.
One of the most encouraging phenomena in recent years has been the growth of lifelong learning in the education sector. Nowadays, students are embarking on courses at all ages. Higher education is no longer seen as a place for the young. Mature students are appreciated and valued. Recent research has also indicated that older students are enthusiastic learners, able to contribute a number of skills and attributes gained from work, family, and other life experiences.
Seasonal flu typically hits senior citizens harder than most other age groups. In fact, some 90% of flu-related deaths are estimated to occur in adults 65 and older. But with pandemic influenzas like bird or swine flu, it's a different story. Take the 2009 H1N1 flu. In that outbreak, adults over 65 actually suffered the fewest infections of any age group. That anomaly suggests they might have some sort of built-in immunity. Now researchers say the seniors' secret may be in their spit. Researchers sampled saliva from 180 children, adult, and elderly volunteers. Then they isolated proteins from the saliva and tested how well the inhibitory proteins stuck to 2 strains of H9N2 bird flu. Turns out elderly men and women had significantly more such proteins that interfere with the flu virus, which researchers say could boost the seniors' resistance to bird flu. Those results appear in the Journal of Proteome Research. The next step, researchers say, is to develop an oral or nasal spray based on these proteins, which might give people of all ages a chance to send the flu a lethal loogie.
So I think these are the correct options. Right from dictation.
Stories often contain messages in our lives.
So this is stories often contain messages in our lives. Stories often contain messages in our lives. So you have to check the answers. So you can write 2 to 3 words extra, but I am sure this is the correct sentence.
Artists affiliated with conservative politics also play the role of critics.
So I think also play the role of critics. So this was the end of the sentence. So it was like the artists affiliated with conservative politics. With conservative politics also play the role of critics.
Our seminar on business planning includes an internship at a firm.
So this is our seminar on business planning includes an internship at a firm.
There's an ongoing effort to enhance the company's public image.
So I think it's theirs an ongoing effort to enhance the company's image. So I think it's company's public image. So this is the score. It's 85 out of 90. So we will check the analytics from here. So this is the score of repeat sentence, then retell lecture, answer short question, summarize spoken text and multiple choice, then select missing words, filling the blanks, single answer, highlight correct summary, then highlight incorrect words and write from dictation. So this is the total score, it's 85, and total questions were 34 out of 34, and this is the overall score. So this is the task wise score, means if you want to check the analysis. So if you want to check like question wise score, and this is the question wise score. These are the question of the repeat sentence, then it's retell lecture, after that answer short question, and this is summarize spoken text. So this is content, spelling, then form, then grammar and vocabulary, and this is filling the blanks. These are the answers. So this is all from my side, and this is right from dictation. You can check your answers. So if you have any doubts, any suggestions, then you can write in the comment box. So this is the third question, and this is the last question. So this is the way ki how the marks will divide, like listening and the writing, because right from dictation is also contributing in the writing section, but it will show you score on these only listening section. So this is the score. So if you have any doubts, then you can write in the comment box, and thank you so much for subscribing my channel, but share these videos with your friends also. Thank you so much.